All right, everyone, the Democrats have signaled to their party loyal, hey, now things are going to go back to the boring old ho-hum days of, like, Obama or the Al Gore front or something. It's going to be business as usual, which is to say shitty for the average American. And by the way, they've said basically to all the younger Democratic voters who they really need for the midterms, but I don't think they're going to get them, hey, basically fuck off. Nancy Pelosi has been chosen to continue as Speaker of the House. Nancy Pelosi just presided over an election in which the Democrats, supposedly hammering away at the Republicans on the executive level, lost literally everything else at a bare minimum, breaking even maybe in the Senate if they're lucky in Georgia in a few days, losing more than half of their House majority to the point where they're hazarded, and not gaining a single one of the 6 state houses they targeted, in fact losing another one. The Democrats are in a sorry state right now. Their leadership is extremely weak. Now you've got an upswell of young Republicans that are much more adept than the old wave of neocons. They've got much more grassroots support. Their populism is very popular among large segments of society, the middle and working class especially. It's starting to pick up among Hispanic voters, which should goddamn set off the biggest goddamn alarm bells in the DNC. But Pelosi doesn't care. She wants to stay with the 90s id poll side of the Democrats. What they've done in the wake of Reagan. Reagan's success forced them to essentially become like a slightly differentiated Reagan plus id poll. That's basically what the Democrats have been since Ronald Reagan clobbered them. Ronald Reagan destroys them, fucks Jimmy Carter in the ass. That's the last time, by the way, the Democrats have been this weak, is the Carter era. when Joe Biden still had color in his hair and hadn't gotten his hair transplant or his wig or whatever the fuck he has on his head now yet. They were weak. They get fucked by Reagan. They try everything that they can, but he fucks them again. And they're melting down. Herbert Walker manages to be a shitty president, and so they managed to rig him their golden boy Clinton, who's sort of a schmoozer and probably would have lost if Walker hadn't been a total fucking disaster. A total fucking loser, like literally every Bush who's part of their inbred fucking clan from Connecticut is. They'll pretend to be cowboys, but, they're New England blue bloods. Anyway, what happens is that the Democrats, since then, all their victories have been basically, we're not going to rock the boat too much, but we want incrementally more taxation and a little bit less guns, and we're going to give welfare crumbs to black people. That's the Democrats' message over the last 30 fucking years. That's all they've done. Name another main policy that they've had that they didn't peddle and pander to people on the basis of either race or, hey, if you're poor, vote for us because we'll give you more crumbs. That's all they do. They've signaled with this, they're going to keep doing that. That's why you lost in 2016. It was exactly that. And with the Republican side in now turmoil, with a secondary schism going on where the MAGA side wants to take over the party and might be successful, because populism is way more popular than neocondom. Neocondom. I don't know what to tell the Democrats, but I think you're going to get hammered in the midterms. You'll be lucky if the Republicans don't take a supermajority in both the House and Senate. And by the way, if they do that, they can remove whoever's in office, and I hope they do. Because it would be just desserts for the honk-honk, entirely appropriate, above-board, perfect, splendiferous election. What are you even thinking? There were barely any people other than, like, the cringe-fringe leftists, which, they would like, fucking AOC or something as Speaker of the House. She's basically like a younger Nancy Pelosi. She is a grifter, but she's better at pretending to be a leftist. When you're selling $58 sweatshirts and stuff like that, come on, dude. Talk about consistency. But the young cringe-fringe can't govern. They can't lead. They would fail too, in my opinion. In fact, the party would recollapse again. But Pelosi's not. If you want to maintain the neoliberaldom, you need someone who's more well-spoken and preferably like, not a boomer, someone who's under 55, someone maybe a Gen X or something. Fucking, get Beto O'Rourke in there or some shit. It doesn't make any sense to re-elect Pelosi to the position. She's mismanaged your party. Every time that she's in charge of things, she loses. Her win-loss record is abysmal. I don't understand what you're doing. How do you think that Nancy Pelosi is going to fare against the upswelling young Republicans in the House, all of which are considerably younger than the candidates on the Dem side? They're more adept when it comes to the online world, when it comes to digital campaigning, which has taken us past multi-million-dollar ad buys and into the point where you just make a tweet. Trump has done this. There are two groups that have latched on. The MAGA types, as opposed to the neocons, and they're becoming dominant within the GOP in some segments, in some states, and some, especially in the House. And then the far left, which is being suppressed openly by the neoliberals. By the way, you've got the same issue in both parties. What you've got, though, is you've got definitely the neoliberals have reasserted authority. It's not clear the neocons will be able to do that within the GOP. If they're unsuccessful, the Republicans are going to carry this next paradigm because the MAGA types, because they are a new thing, because they are more talented, you don't have to agree with them, they are more rhetorically talented, they're more adept. They will win consistently until the Democrats are forced, they are dragged kicking and screaming into the new century. Because right now they're living in the 1990s. And they're going to lose. Nancy Pelosi is a goddamn fossil. And it's much like the Democratic Party nominating and running Joe Biden. If Beijing Biden is the president of the United States, what more can the Republicans goddamn possibly ask for? Biden will be forced to overstretch as an overture to the AOC, Ilhan Omar types. So he'll lose his mandate among moderate Dems. And then he'll piss off the moderate Dems because he won't do anything. He'll just sit there. And things will stagnate and be boring like they were under second-term Obama, leading directly to the Trump era. The MAGA types are happy right now. Nancy Pelosi being the leader of the House helps them incredibly. If the Democrats had thrown her aside and said, you know, you've had your shot, you're 80, you've been speaker for a long time, it's time to fuck off. It's time to get someone who's, you know, not geriatric in there, who can actually, like, eat something other than prunes and bran muffins. And, you know, the latter, she has to have her dentures in to do that. If they got someone talented in there, someone more likable, it'd be a threat to the Republicans. Then the MAGA types, the neocons might say, well, we're hazarded. We need to reunify as a party. MAGA has to go away. Then they're not going to be able to do that now. The MAGA types will run and, hey, we're the ones that actually fight Pelosi. You roll over. You negotiate with her. The left and the MAGA types are both bad at negotiating. The difference is that the left is subjugated, far smaller, I would argue, and far less adept. They're far less likable to moderates. The populists are the ones that are popular among the moderates. Yeah, half the people that were voting for Trump weren't even fucking partisan Republicans. I know I'm not. I can deal with the populists. I can't deal with the neocons. Fucking George Bush or Mitt Romney. It's to the point where leftists are like, well, Mitt Romney's a man of astounding character. Again, political strategy, dude, or as Bush would say, strategery. It's not going to do great things to have Nancy Pelosi leading the Democrats. And by the way, she doesn't think of herself as subjugate to anybody. She thinks she rules the roost. I'm Speaker of the House. I'm more powerful than the President. She'll lean on fucking Beijing Biden. And by the way, because he's such a goddamn puppet weakling, she'll be successful. Yeah, welcome to the Nancy Pelosi asterisk presidency, or I don't know. What's going on right now? It's all in chaos anyway. It's fun. I like analyzing it. It gives me plenty of laughs because the Democrats have to be fucking completely out of their minds to let Pelosi continue leading them. That's about all. Peace out.